Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and this is a new animated film from Disney+, and they've made a whole bunch of live-action versions of this book from Jeff Kinney, and now Kinney does a screenplay to bring his own stories to the streaming screen on Disney+, and this is from director Swinton O. Scott III, who has worked on certain series. Like, he worked on Futurama and, like, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers in some capacities. And here, we have Brady Noon, who plays Greg, our main character. Brady Noon, who's from Good Boys. He played the kid Thor. Also is on the Mighty Ducks Game Changers. So, knows a little bit about Disney+. And this kid, Greg, is ambitious and has an active imagination, is going off to middle school. And he has his best friend who, might not be the coolest of kids. And, there's a lot of tension that builds throughout this 58-minute film, because, this is just an hour-long film, of the tension between them of, Greg trying to be I'm too cool for him, but then, something happens and his friend becomes a lot more popular than him, and you have all this tension. There's a lot of moving parts for something that's only 58 minutes, which I think the only thing that could say is, this has, ridiculous kid pacing. It's zipping all across the place from idea to idea. And, I think in general, the story, this narrative, is genuine and earnest and relatable. We've all had these horrible middle school experiences. I hated middle school. And you have all of these kids and, dealing with younger brothers and too cool older brothers and weird dad and overprotective mom who's always keeping an eye on you, and you can't stay out past 8:30 on Halloween, but you have to take your baby brother too. And your baby brother gets all the candy because he's cute, and you're dressed as a ninja and you don't get any candy. This film really focuses on a lot of those kinds of scenarios, but it feels very loose, this narrative structure and how the story is told. It feels more like a bunch of vignettes that there's some things that finally come back around to pull this all together. There's a jerk group of teenagers in a truck that are probably the closest thing we have to antagonists here, along with the mother, I guess, is one of those kinds of, mother's not a bad person, but, is getting in the way of the fun that the kids are having. But I feel like the biggest issue with this film is that so many of these characters are incredibly unlikable and annoying and get on your nerves. And, Greg is not somebody that I really want to, get behind, because he's selfish and he's a jerk, and he has those moments a lot throughout this film, and, obviously you have this growth, and, he has an earnest and well set up growth throughout the film, because they keep talking about, the cheese. If you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you have all that building up, and by the end, it feels like it gives a payoff, despite the fact that, I'm still not a huge fan of Greg. You would have, if I saw more of these and, they built up him to be a little bit more likable and you're more easily connect to them and more understanding of what they're going through, because, this drops and on a Friday and I watch it in the evening, and it's just you sit at work all day and you come home and you're just this is just a silly, mindless, cute little film. It has a very unique look to it in terms of the animation. I think it really works for the series. The character designs are goofy and silly. And in the end, I think there's enough charm here to appease the youngins. Don't know how this is going to translate well to adults necessarily. This kind of was middling in the center there. And as I step back, it's this was a pretty inoffensive, just, it's a little kid's movie. So if they have a fun time, you're the parent, you were successful. But those are my thoughts on Diary of a Wimpy Kid on Disney+. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.